Good afternoon, everybody. My name's Ivan, and welcome to another episode of Business Talk with Ivan. And today I am thrilled and honoured to be joined by Sabita, who is originally from Nepal, who moved to Hong Kong, who now lives in the UK. Hello, Sabita. How are you?
Hi, Ivan. How are you doing?
I'm brilliant. How are you?
Yeah. Good, thank you. Thank you for having me today.
Oh no, my absolute pleasure. That's quite an amazing picture behind you actually there.
Thank you. Yeah, I bring a little bit of color because usually my backgrounds are quite white.
Yeah, no, it's nice. Yeah. It's nice. Did you paint it? I'm assuming you didn't.
No, I'm not that talented, unfortunately.
No, don't put yourself down. Don't put yourself down. Oh no, but I'm thrilled. Thank you so much for joining us. In these conversations, this whole series that I do is just really to find out about the people that are in our community. E.g. you today. Because I've been running my business now for several months, and it's going very well. And I'm keen to understand if other people are having the same kind of experience, really. And and it's been fascinating for me to talk to people from all over the world. And so thank you so much for taking the time today.
Thank you.
Me, So my first question is, what was your life like before you started this business? So tell me about this journey from Nepal to Hong Kong to the UK and so on and so forth. What was your life like before the business?
Actually, I was born and raised in Hong Kong, and I moved here in the UK last several years. It's been several years since I've been to the UK, and before my life, before this business, I used to be in corporate world. And I worked in various industries, various sectors. Started with public sector. I moved on to education and airlines and investment bank. So I've been, I've tried several different sectors, but all in corporate setting. And that's my background really.
Okay. And had you been looking for a digital business for a while, or had you been consciously looking even for a digital business, or did this kind of creep up on you by surprise?
Actually, not really. I started my business last year in April, so it's been a year now. From January, early 2019, I was actively looking for something to do from home. I wasn't necessarily looking for a business. I was more like looking for a job, something to work from home initially. I was looking for maybe some freelance work and stuff like that online. But what I found that was when I was searching through these online jobs, I started to get results from Google and on my social media about these different kind of businesses, keep popping up on my screen. And obviously I was trying to, initially, as I said, I was not looking into business, but then I started to be more interested in, I could maybe try doing some business as well, So that's when I came across this opportunity in around in third week of March. Right. And that's when I registered and all that. So the rest is history.
Absolutely. So why, and you mentioned you wanted something to work from home. So was that the primary reason? So are you saying to me you wanted to spend more time with the family or something, or was it just you wanted to actually start a business that was just your business?
Actually, the reason why I started is because as I said, I was working in a corporate setting. I was working in central London at that time, and I found it really difficult. After my girl was 1 year old, I went back to work. And it was very difficult for me. I had two small children. My older girl was just about 3 years old then, and my younger one was just over a year old. And it was very difficult, as any working mom, full-time working mom would understand that, managing work as well as little children as well, along with the house, everything. It was really stressful. I was physically and emotionally really drained, and that's when I decided I could not go on like that. I wanted to give my kid best of me, not like, I was emotionally drained and exhausted, and I didn't want to be that mom, always so exhausted and unhappy and miserable all the time. So that's the reason why I actually left my job. And after I left my job, obviously, on one single income with my husband, right? Single income, four of us, it's not easy. So that's when I started to, start looking for working from home opportunities and so on. That's when I came across this.
Okay.
So my kids are my biggest why, really. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. I totally understand that. So, had you tried other online opportunities then? What stood out to you about this opportunity then? Why this one?
Yeah, I actually started looking for, in as I mentioned, in January, and I had seen actually a few different ones, and I did try actually signed up for another one before I did this one, and I was going through that, and I found it was it didn't really fit me because although I wanted to, do my business, work from home or do my business, but at the same time, I still wanted my kids to be my topmost priority, right? That's why I left the job, because I didn't want to be bound by deadlines and things like that. And which is why it didn't really, suit my needs. That's when I started, I kept looking for, different things. That's when this came across, this one.
Right, I'm with you. So did you leave your job before you started this business, or at the same time, or not long after, or?
Shortly after I left my job, that's when, I left my job and I started looking for to work from home in January, right? So I think it was around about October 2018, I left my job.
Okay, right.
Yeah, and then from January 2019, I started to look for something to do work from home. Yeah.
Amazing. So you joined, obviously, you paid registration fee and you moved forward to the next stage. And I guess ultimately you started your business. So excellent. So tell me about the training journey then. So, how long did it take you from when you kind of decided to take that step and become a distributor? How long then before you got to a stage where you started promoting your business?
I actually officially started the business in early April, like first week of April, and the training has been brilliant. Was brilliant because it is actually designed specifically for people those who don't have prior experience. So I did not have any experience working online, like running a business online, right? So I didn't have to worry about any of that. So, and the training, the best part was training. The training itself is in bite-sized chunks. So because being, mom of two young kids, they are physically dependent on me. So I couldn't basically, sit down and do long trainings for, a stretch of time. So what I did was I do a bit of training here and there, like when they're taking nap or, after they go to bed, mostly during nighttime, right after they go to bed. And it took me around, from beginning to end, it took me around about 2 weeks. To finish my training, and after that I set all my business was ready to I actually started promoting my business I think it was the third week of April. So
really
it wasn't so it was
that's really good.
It was, and obviously the training was really good, as I mentioned, some parts I could finish it really quickly. It was really easy. But some parts, obviously, I had to spend some time to understand it, because learning new skills, right? As I said, I had no prior experience in this. So still, I found it wasn't too difficult. And if I needed any help, my mentor was there as well, so to help me through.
Right, I'm with you. Okay, no, that makes sense. So, as you went through that journey, were you surprised how easy it was, or did you expect it to be more difficult, or was the process you went through to start your business exactly what you thought it was going to be?
Not exactly, in a sense that, obviously I didn't know what to expect. I had never worked online before, especially running a business online, right? So one of the things, I only focused on the technical side of it. I would think that, what I need to set up the business and run the business. But I found the thing that I had to learn mostly was to, we are in this lifestyle business, right? So we are doing lifestyle marketing. So one of the hardest thing for me was to sort of like share my story, share snippets of my life. That was very difficult for me, being a very private person. And it doesn't come naturally to me. So I had to make, that was the biggest I think that was the hardest part for me, and that was something I had not really expected. And yeah, that would be that. Otherwise, everything else was fine. I think,
Yeah.
the training's there, the support is there. So, it was just about myself getting over that, pushing myself out of my comfort zone. I think that was the more
No, I think that's really interesting, actually. I think sometimes, some people are quite comfortable sharing their complete life, aren't they, on social media. Some people don't give it a second thought. And then you've got other people that are just naturally just more private, more guarded, however you want to look at it. And it's, the thing is, when you are working in a digital business, when, as soon as you decide to make that leap, you have to accept that anonymity. You throw it away. It's gone, isn't it, really? Let's be honest. And it's, but that can take some getting used to. So that is, I think it's important. I think, the journey you've gone through is really, really quite inspiring for people who are probably watching this, because people will naturally be worried about privacy and this and that. And it's, but at the end of the day, you still only share what you want to share, but, it is important that you do share, isn't it? Because at the end of the day, people want to get to know you. I want to get to know me. And the only way for that to happen is to open up, isn't it? And just share what's going on, and people relate to that, and you understand that, and people are interested in people. People relate to people, and that's why people join people. That's how teams are formed. They respond to the person, isn't it? You know what I mean? Okay, no, that's really helpful. That's really interesting, actually. So, what's been like the biggest thing you've learned then? So, as you've gone through, so you started your business in April, it was obviously live. Here we are, kind of 8, 9, 10 months later. Well, no, almost a year actually. Sorry, it's almost a year. When you look back over the past 12 months, what's been the biggest thing that you have learned?
Oh, a lot of things. Last 12 months has been about me stepping out of my comfort zone. Mostly, taking that courage, taking that leap of faith, like not unknowing what's, waiting for me outside, on this online space. And so everything has been all about courage, be it, pushing myself out of my comfort zone and doing these kind of videos, right? I've never been comfortable being in front of camera all my life. And this is something I have been able to. I'm not really comfortable, but I keep pushing myself. So 12 months ago, I would not even imagine myself doing this kind of things, right? Doing these interviews. So it's all about growing, and now it's all about, taking courage and, taking the leap of faith and all that. And also I have seen others as well grow within our business community. We have, a lot of business owners who have been, pushing themselves, getting out of their comfort zone and all that. For some people it may be doing these, or some people some other things. Like, everybody's different, but and also being able to see the result, and also for myself as well, seeing the result, it has been really inspiring as well, looking at other people, other business owner, as well as for myself. When I look back, I've grown so much as a person as well. And my entire corporate career, I was not able to push myself as much as I have been able to do that in the last 12 months. So I see it as a big achievement, not only in terms of being able to run my business with my kids around, without having to sacrifice, my time with kids, right? So that's the biggest thing, obviously. But then also in terms of personal level, as a person, being able to grow that, it's been, amazing. It's absolutely amazing.
Good. So tell me about, what does a typical day look like for you then? Obviously, I'm conscious you're raising children as well. So how do you work raising a family with running a digital business?
When I first started, it was really, I didn't know exactly what I was doing. So I had to try and test several things. And nowadays I have settled for something like, I'll try to wake up in the morning, and I'll set aside, I wake up before the rest of the house, right? The rest of my kids wake up. And after that, I can't do anything. So basically, so try to organize my things I want to do before the kids are up. And doing I start with gratitude practice. That's something I had never done before this business. I always take things for granted, right? I didn't realize that. And one of the things I've learned is to, we've always grown up, our parents, my parents used to say, count your blessings, count your blessings. And you just think that, like, one of the cliches, but it is so important to count our blessings. So start with that. And then I would also think about what I'm going to do during the day, the task I'm going to achieve for the day. Those tasks, in terms of moving my business forward, they're not necessarily huge goals, but small tasks. The things I'm going to post, the things I'm going to share, or what videos or any materials that I'm going to do, or in terms of learning new things. Like, we have amazing masterminds, weekly masterminds, and there are so many trainings as well, ongoing learning experiences. But so I would that is still a part of my growing my business. So I will think about those things, like what I can do during the day. So after that, obviously my kids wake up, and obviously they are my first priority, they said, and now, especially now, we're on lockdown and there's no schooling. There's homeschooling as well involved with my older girl.
Right.
So that's added another dimension to my to our daily life. So also do homeschooling in the morning as well. I try to focus on that, and obviously the rest of the house, like lunch, dinner, and again, most of the time I do most of my work during after they go to bed in the night. So yeah, that's how it works. So I don't necessarily spend time on my business during the day. And that's what I love about this business, that I don't have to be, sort of like forced by somebody else's deadline, putting a deadline on me. Absolutely. So I can choose when I want to work on my business. Yeah. So being able to own my time is the biggest thing. So that's how it works for me now. I don't know, maybe in future I may change it. Like,
I get it. That's amazing. Absolutely. I mean, being able to run it from anywhere as well is another thing. So I think linked to what you were saying, being able to dip in and dip out whenever you want to, whenever you can, because of your family commitments, is important. But equally, being able to, still control and run your business when you are in the supermarket queue, waiting to pay for shopping, waiting to get into a supermarket in the current climate, in a coffee shop, on a plane, and you're sitting in the passenger seat in a car. As long as you've got access to the internet on your mobile or your laptop, you can still run your business, can't you? You don't need to be at home.
Absolutely. I used to do that. Like, when I used to go grocery shopping, when I'm waiting on queue, like I used to respond to inquiries and things like while waiting. Absolutely. So, that's the beauty about this, right? You can actually do it whenever it suits you, and whenever in the pockets of time that you have, right? Not necessarily have to sit down and do. That's one of the things I really enjoy and I really appreciate about this business. I'm really grateful for this, because when I was working 9 to 5, I had that certain amount of time I had to be away, and I had to do my job during that time. But here now, I can choose my own time. That's the biggest blessing.
Which is exactly like the amazing thing, isn't it? To be fair, I get it. Yeah. So what over the past 12 months, what's been the biggest challenge then that you've had to deal with? What's been, if you had to pinpoint one thing, what would that be then that you've had to, that's maybe was unexpected, that you didn't think you'd have to deal with, but you have, from a business perspective? Has it been one thing, or?
Not really. As I mentioned, one of the biggest challenges I had was to really share my, being a private person. That was my biggest thing. Other than that, I find, obviously this is a business that you need to spend more time and put effort. Obviously it doesn't, run itself for you. You need to still be able to, put time and effort on your business, right?
Absolutely.
But there are other things on the business side that I find it so helpful. Like, some of the elements run on automation, and I don't have to worry about those sort of things. So it makes it a lot easier. But as I said, the biggest challenge that I would say is definitely, being open to, like, being able to share my story and all that. It's just like, actually people connect to people. That was the biggest challenge. Absolutely. That was the biggest challenge for me.
So how did you do that then? So how did you, what was that, you talk about sharing and getting used to life videos and that. Was it just doing them and practicing, or was there something specific that you did to help you get more comfortable?
Actually, there are several things. Obviously, there's practice. More practice you do, the more comfortable you can become. And the other thing was because shortly after I started the business, I saw that how it has changed, how it has had a positive impact on my life. I was no longer that person who was miserable, unhappy, and feeling guilty all the time for losing my patience with my kids and all that. And also on top of that, had been able to impact more lives in terms of I have several moms and dads, actually even dads, that I've been mentoring around the world. So, and also being able to impact on them and on their lives, on their family lives.
Amazing.
That has really sort of helped me. Yeah. And also the impact that I was able to make on other people's lives as well. So that's the biggest thing. So yeah.
Oh no, that's really that's really quite amazing. I'm so proud of you. So pleased for you as well. That's fantastic.
I think that's one of the things that this business model allows. Having to not only ourselves but also helping others to sort of have that.
And that kind of leads me to the next question, actually, which is kind of when you think about this business versus other digital businesses. So you mentioned you have tried another one prior to this one. What makes it stand out as being the one that people should think about? So if people are watching this right now and they're maybe looking at starting a digital business but aren't sure whether to go with this one or that one or whatever, why should they choose this one?
This business, because one of the things that I mentioned earlier is because when I tried another one, I don't know about, there are so many different kinds of businesses, right? Motors out there. The ones I saw was they had specific deadlines that every time, you have to meet your clients' deadlines, right? So no matter what there is, you still need to be able to finish the certain, order or things like that within a certain time, right? So most of them are like that. And the ones I saw was like that. And the deadline, I didn't want to have that kind of pressure on me, that where I will again be again, similar to my corporate job, really. I will have deadlines and things like that. And I would be a little bit stressed out and will not be able to focus 100% on my children, my kids, right? And that was the biggest thing. And the other also thing is that obviously this is a business. We have products in the back end, like every business has either services or product, right? So we do have products in the back end, but I don't have to do the direct selling. That's the biggest task for me.
Thing, isn't it? Let's be honest. No selling. No selling at all.
So that's the thing, right? So, and other things would also be something like I don't have to do direct selling, as well as I'm able to prioritize my kids over the business. And also some of the things, as I said, run on automation, and not everything, but some of the things that keeps producing results. Like sometimes I wake up in the morning that I have some action takers, trying to join my business and so on. So things like this happen. So without having to spend, time to get results, some of the things work on automation. So this is great. So
right, that makes sense. And I would share those thoughts as well. I would add that the community and the mentorship and the support that people get is what is another thing that makes this business stand out compared to anything else out there. All right. So, the fact that everybody who joins gets a personal mentor and a coach. Okay. And they also get access to our private group on Facebook. Okay. That is filled with digital business owners. So these are people that have gone through, aren't they? These are people that have gone through or are going through the same journey as they would be. We are, and being able to tap into that resource is absolutely incredible. End of. It is absolutely incredible, isn't it? I think it is.
Yeah. And also the masterminds. We have these amazing masterminds.
Exactly. Yes.
Sharing, all these successful business owners sharing this, their success stories, their tips and strategies on how to become successful and all that. These are amazing values. So,
oh, they are. Yeah, definitely. So, if you were to fast forward 12 months from now, what's the dream, Sabita? Where are you looking to be? What have you got your sights set on?
Yeah, 12 months. So as I mentioned, last 12 months has all been about courage. So this year, next 12 months is all about, I believe, is going to be about growth. Again, growing myself as a person, as well as, when I mentioned earlier that when I started this, I did it for myself, my family, right? Myself, my kids, But having seen that, I can also make impact on other people's lives. So I'm really focused. I'm really excited about that. I'm really excited about being able to sort of like help somebody else have that positive change in their lives. Yeah. So this is all going to be about that. So next 12 months, I'm continuously going to, help other people as well to have that in their lives and bring this positive change in their life. So that's the thing I'm focusing on. I have already got several mummies and daddies under my mentorship, and I would like to continue doing that and continue to share my story. And now because when I said earlier, when I said I was really uncomfortable sharing my stories and all that, but because when I shared my story, I was able to make that change and make that impact. Now I'm encouraged, and I'm not as, I would definitely not as nervous or not as restricted about sharing my life and my stories, because I know that what I can do. So
you're right. It just comes with practice. That the more you do that, the easier it gets. But that's amazing. So it all starts with for people to watch a workshop, isn't it? We have a free, complimentary, zero cost workshop that explains more about this business. Okay, but more importantly, it talks about what is possible with this business. Yeah. Why should people watch the workshop, do you think?
As you mentioned that the workshop, first part is talking about a business side of it, how it works, and the pillar. We've got 3 pillars of a successful online business and all that, and what sales funnels and things like that are. So all in terms of technicalities and all that. Second half is the most exciting part, in my opinion, because then you get to hear the real stories of people who are actually doing the business, right? And I feel that some people I've had come across some of them inquire saying that they don't have time to watch that because it's about 90 minutes long, right?
Yes, I've had some.
And my what I say to those is that in life, it's all about choices we make, about our priority, what we choose, and what we focus on. And sometimes, like what we like to do, like especially, when you are tired and all that, we like to sit back and watch maybe TV shows, Netflix and all that, right? So 90 minutes means like maybe we are watching like 2 episodes of Netflix. So when you think about 90 minutes, watching that TV show, I know that it will relax you and make you maybe forget things that, anything that is stressing you out. But is it going to change your life? Is it going to move, your life in the direction that you want to do?
Yes.
You want to move. Is it going to do that? Definitely not, right? But the workshop, I'm not saying that it will change your life, but what if it does, right? Like we have now, 42,000 people in our community.
No, it's amazing, isn't it? Seriously.
Yeah. So those 42,000 people found that it could change their lives. So that's what, So what if, instead of watching that, spending that 80, 90 minutes on watching your TV show or Netflix, why don't you watch this workshop that can actually maybe change your life? Right. So that's the thing I want to say, really. So
couldn't say it better myself. That makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
And it's what we did, isn't it? So we both
Yeah.
watched that workshop. That's where it started for us.
Yeah.
And it's where it starts for everybody. And yeah, I think that perfectly summarizes why they should watch it. You know, a digital business might not be for everybody, exactly as you say.
Yes.
But what if it is? You know, I say that a lot, but it's true, isn't it? You know, can people afford to not watch it? Why? You know, if you've been thinking about it, why wouldn't you? Why would you not? Makes no sense. But absolutely, you know, I'm so glad that I jumped in all those months ago, and I'm assuming you feel the same way.
Yes,
You know,
absolutely.
exactly. You know, Sabita, thank you so much. That's been absolutely amazing. You know, you've been a star. So thank you for sharing your story, and thank you for, I guess, giving us an insight into, you know, your business, you know, and, you know, I wish you all the very, very best for the future. You've been an absolute...
Thank you, Ivan. Yeah.
No, but
thank you for having me. It's a pleasure and my honor to share my story as well. And thank you so much for having me.
You're more than welcome. You're more than welcome. And to everybody else watching, thank you for watching. And I will see you on the next episode of Business Talk. So until then, we'll see you later. Bye-bye.
See you. Bye, Ivan. Bye, everyone.